Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. Today, we're making a confession. We are declaring our favorite house in Natchez, and we're bringing you along for a tour. We've brought you the Wigwam before, but since you've been with us last time and since we've seen the home, it has undergone massive restoration work by the current owner. Let's start with the fact that she knocked down a building that was blocking the entire view of the front of this extraordinary home from its frontage street. She's restored the entire front walk, the entire drive. She's given us some ADA accessible steps in the front of the house. On the interior of the home, all of the mechanical systems have been updated. Upstairs, she pulled up all of the original floor, replaced termite-eaten floor joists, and put the original floors back down. The list of her maintenance and restoration work goes on and on and on. She has spent an entire year bringing this home back to its magnificent splendor, and we cannot wait to show you the details of what's gone on inside. One of the things that differentiates the history of the Wigwam from all of the other incredible mansions in Natchez is that this home was occupied by Union troops and Union officers during the American Civil War. And there are all sorts of relics of that time to be found on this property, starting with the bullet hole in the front door. I love how the current owner has left it exposed so we can see a little bit of that Civil War history right as we come in the front door. And I have more artifacts to show you inside, so come on in with me. The Wigwam was built in 1836 by four sisters, Margaret, Matilda, Amanda, and Laura Ivy. They bought some land from the original Spanish land grant of Cottage Gardens, and by 1841 they had constructed a large but fairly modest 4-room cottage. Then in 1858, this property was purchased by Eliza Green. Her father was Peter Green of Rosalie, and it was expanded into the absolute pinnacle of Italianate architecture that it is today. Well, here I am with some of those relics I told you about earlier. First of all, I want to point out these photographs of the actual Union troops here on the porch of the wigwam. You can see them all gathered here. This is where they stayed during the entirety of the Civil War. Not bad accommodations. And here in this display cabinet, we have a lot of artifacts, both from the time of the Civil War. You can see the Civil War era bullets here, and even earlier eras. So this is an incredible time capsule of all of the history that's occurred here at the wigwam. Well, people ask me what makes this home, of all the magnificent architectural splendors in Natchez, Mississippi, why this home? Why is this your favorite? The answer is this room. Now, there are many things about the wigwam that are absolutely spectacular. The Italianate design across the front, the cast iron ornamentation on the porch, the general layout of the house is absolutely comfortable, unbelievable. But this room, this ballroom, with its remaining period mural on the ceiling, and then these little glimpses of the mural underneath the generations of paint over the top, make this the stand-apart property in Natchez for me. What I would give to have unlimited hours and a tiny scalpel in this room to take off, to peel back the layers and layers of paint and plaster that cover this original mural work on the walls and re-enliven it, re-expose it after all of these generations covered. It has the feel, if you've ever been to Pompeii or Herculaneum, this room brings that ancient feel into this space, and I absolutely adore it. And to me, this room makes the wigwam priceless. I want you to take a look at each one of these individual hand-painted panels, and you can see the scenes of abundance that are on the ceiling. Coming down from the muraled ceiling, we see this beautiful concaved cornice work. It is at least a 14-piece installation, and you have the 3-dimensional plaster work sitting right at the cornice. Absolutely stunning. Now, I want you to look at this mantle. Very, very different from what we see in the early part of the house. This is a high style Carrara marble mantelpiece that would have been completely indicative of the period of the remodel. We've talked about the incredible plaster work that is here in the wigwam, and I wanted to draw your attention to this incredible half medallion over the door. This is the dining room. It would have always been the dining room and served that purpose, and we see that theme in this plaster medallion. You'll see in the very center we have a sheaf of wheat and grapes signifying abundance. I love that. Now, look at this Carrara marble mantelpiece, and remember that we're standing in one of the 4 original 1830s rooms in this property. This mantelpiece is not original to this room. It would have been part of the later remodel. The original mantelpiece now lives in the kitchen. Now, I know some of you have to be wondering, why is this house named the Wigwam, which of course is the name of a dwelling place for indigenous people. Well, it hasn't always been called the Wigwam. When the Ivy sisters built the house, they called it Riverview Estates. Here we are with these beautiful, flickering, original, working, functioning Gasoliers to tell you farewell from Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Wigwam and all of its beauty and splendor, but really we're here to also tell you that the Wigwam happens to be for sale. After massive restoration work done by the current owner, this beauty is going back on the market. Now, we aren't the realtors, we don't represent the house, we don't guarantee it in any way, but if you're interested in potentially joining us here in Natchez and becoming the next caretaker of this property, click the Zillow link in the description below. I'm going to go enjoy a little more time here on the grounds of the Wigwam, enjoying the new gardens, the new fountain, and the new view. You enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin.